All right, let's do it. All right, everybody, we are back. This is another episode of Attack the Talk podcast. Yeah, we're back. And last week was so much fun. We hope that we had some of our friends join us again today. And today, guys, we'll be finally finishing up season 3, episode 1. Again, jam-packed episode, a lot happening.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah, and this episode is no different. We're gonna go ahead and finish off episode 1 of season 3 with a high note.
Yes.
With a really, really big moment. And it's a moment that I think a lot of AOT fans really, really enjoy. We also are officially introduced to a surprise character. And I use that word surprise because of something Lexi's going to go ahead and talk about in a few minutes. And yeah, so we're going to be finishing up season 3, episode 1, Smoke Signal Part 3. Of course, you guys are aware there will be spoiler talks in these episodes. These episodes are just spoiler filled, guys. You guys are aware that when you go back and you watch AOT, you're gonna see some things. You're like, oh, that was foreshadowing, that was referencing, that was the smallest little thing, something, right? So there will be spoilers, guys. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. It's gonna be a challenging episode as always for us with the voices, specifically me.
Yes,
but I'm ready. I'm ready for the challenge.
I don't have to do much today. It's pretty much all AJ today.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a fun episode, guys. And of course, I'm your host AJ, and joining me as always is
I'm Lexi.
It's Lexi. Alrighty. So before we go ahead and officially begin the story, Lex, I want to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Been getting lots of rest this weekend. Another update, guys. I have another concussion.
Yeah.
This is my 5th one. And it's my 3rd one in like 5 months. So that's going on. Yeah. We're gonna make sure that everything's all good up here, and yeah. Oh, what's up, Marco?
What's up, dude?
It's been a while.
Man. Marco, how have you been? Lexi's just telling us that she is concussed again.
Yeah, I have another concussion. It seems like I'm getting one every other month.
But Marco, how are you? How are you doing, man? I know it's been a little while since you joined us here in the podcast. We miss you, and we hope again you're doing well. Again,
for real?
Yeah,
I know, Marco. I know. I'm just as mad as you are.
No, Marco's not mad. He's just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed as you are. Just see me when it first happened. I was like screaming at the sky. I was like, no!
Oh, no.
Please.
You knew as soon as it happened, right?
Once it happened, I was like, that was kind of close, but I was like, I don't think it was one, because it wasn't a hard dive at all. Like, the scariest part is that it wasn't anywhere near the same impact that my other concussions have been. It was very, very light impact.
Oh, so that's not good, though, considering that's all it takes?
Yeah,
light
because
impact
the concussion is kind of like a scab. Like, the more you get, the easier it is for you to get more. So... yeah, but that's what the scary part is. And then I kept playing, and then like after we were done playing, the adrenaline kind of like settled. I felt that pressure in my head feeling that I'm very familiar with now. And I was like, I'm going to do the responsible thing and tell the coach that I'm going to stop playing today and da-da-da. Like, maybe I'll actually stop playing for once.
After 3 concussions in 5 months, the best thing probably is to do the responsible thing.
It's probably to just actually not keep playing for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I've been resting a lot, and taking care of myself, eating right, and if I need to, I'll wear sunglasses or throw in some AirPods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I have any sensitivity to anything. But it's getting a lot better, actually. And I'm only on like it happened on Friday, and it's Sunday now, and I already feel a little better. So
you're becoming a pro of dealing with concussions.
Yeah,
so
I've been getting very familiar.
Silver lining.
Yeah, you should have seen me talking to the athletic trainers. They were like, yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, just ask me the questions. I'll memorize the numbers, my symptoms from 1 to 6. This is what they are. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you my symptoms throughout the week. And
well, that's too bad, Lex. Yeah. Well, get your rest. You guys, you know what you're doing. You know what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm like painfully familiar with this process now.
So obviously, speedy recovery. We're all wishing you. And
of course. I have a game on Friday, so I'm hoping I could be good by then.
Yeah, hopefully.
I can be symptom free by Monday, Tuesday, hopefully.
Very, very good. Hopefully. And then, of course, our friend Marco, he's telling us that he's doing good. He just came back from a trip. Ooh, where did you go?
Okay.
Which trip? Please let us know, Marco. We'd love to know.
Yeah,
when's the last time I went on a trip?
I think it was the New Year's to Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. Marco said he was just up north, over in Utah, and do you know how to pronounce that, Lex?
What?
Ooh, you can throw in that, sprinkle that little detail.
I was gonna say, actually,
sprinkle that little detail.
I know where you were at, and I know why you were there. Okay, because this is a really weird connection. I went out to brunch with your mom this morning.
All right, okay. So Lexi went to brunch with Marco's mom.
I went to brunch with your mom this morning, and
very cool.
She told me a little bit about that.
She sprinkled
because
the details a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, where's Marco? Why didn't he come down? He's on a little trip to visit a girl.
That's awesome. So Marco was on a trip up north in Utah to go visit a girl. That's awesome.
Yeah, I literally saw them this morning. Yeah, I totally did. It was great. Yeah,
that's exciting.
I heard that the girl is beautiful and that you have great taste.
We gotta applaud Marco for that. Hell yeah.
Good job, Marco. Good job. She is. Oh, good job, Marco.
She is. It's crazy. It's not crazy, dude. You're an awesome dude. I know I only met you once, man, but I mean, just feel like you're just like crazy. You can just tell, man. I don't know what it is about you, Marco, but it's just like I can just tell. I'm like, okay, I like this dude.
Something about that flowing hair and the.
Well, it also didn't help that we have the fan here that was lit constantly, like rotating and stuff, you know, and stuff. And then Marco, of course, was facing the fan, so it was just the hair was flowing and the hair looked amazing, man. You know.
Yeah. No, he's been getting so much better at styling his hair. He's really got a process.
Well, that's the thing that's tricky about having long hair is that when you grow it out, it takes a little while for you to go ahead and kind of realize what the heck to do with it, right? Yeah, and then there's a lot of maintenance involved. But Marco, whatever you're doing, man, you know,
especially if you have like naturally because Marco has because you taught me. Yeah. No, I didn't teach you anything. I just played with your hair one day, and it did not really look the way that it looks now. But like especially like dealing with because you guys have very different hair types because his is more like straight Asian hair, but you have like very curly, like thick hair. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys have to deal with your hair in two different ways.
There's nothing wrong with either of those styles for sure. You know, it's just about finding that style. You know, it's about finding that method and how to kind of deal with it and stuff. You know,
finessing that hair.
Obviously, I didn't know what to do today, so I just pop it up.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, the last couple of weeks I've just been either the low bun. Right now I got kind of the mid bun, like and then a beanie or put on a nice little bucket hat. Yeah. So clearly I don't know what to do with it yet, but Mark, whatever you're doing, man, whatever you're doing, you're doing good. And again, man, congratulations on that nice little trip that you went on to go ahead and see a girl. And I will say that when we had Marco, you showed me you had him on FaceTime. And the dude was working out, and I saw him. I was like, "Damn, Marco."
Yeah,
okay.
he definitely had a pump then. Yeah. But yeah, Marco's getting big. He's getting buff, for sure.
That's awesome. Well,
we're just gassing up Marco in the intro.
Also we're very just excited that Marco's here with us, joining us here in chat as we're streaming live here. And again, this is an exciting episode.
Yes.
You know, it's an exciting episode because again, we get to go ahead and see a character that is, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, is a very interesting character.
Yeah.
You know? And
it opens up like a whole new, I mean, you know, we'll get into that.
And sometimes you have these characters that are kind of like anti-heroes and stuff, or, you know, some of these characters where they come across as somebody who's pretty much a dick.
Yeah.
And then you realize what makes them a dick, and then you realize,
and
maybe
then you're like weirdly
I'm
rooting
kind of
for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm
kind of rooting for this villain.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun, but yeah. So again, happy that you're here with us, Marco. Hopefully you get to stick around with us for the culmination of this episode. We get to finally finish talking about season 1 after 3 parts. This is part 3 of
the third part.
Episode.
I mean, it's only the first episode of season 3, and we're already 3 episodes into it. There's already so much to talk about.
All right, but yeah. So yep. Exactly.
Yes,
Bingo.
See, Marco now.
Yeah, Marco's aware. Very cool. But all right, Lexi. So you have to talk about the poll results. You have to talk about the question and the responses. So I'll go and let you do that. And whatever one you want to start with. By all means.
I'm going to go ahead and start with the Q&A, actually.
Cool.
So last week we asked you guys, and if you want to answer in chat too, go on and feel free to. Hanji handled it like a pro. But how would you react to witnessing a colleague's murder and having to deal with the crooked MPs?
Okay, so do we want to kind of very quickly recap about what happened last week?
Yeah, what happened.
So,
what this is in regards to.
So over in Trost, we know that's where Pastor Nick was staying. He was in his own specific kind of hidden location. But unfortunately, there's some funny business happening over in Trost, and that funny business involves the... what did Hanji refer to them as? Pretty much like the interior MPs,
like the
right?
first
The first interior squad or something,
interiors,
right?
Yeah, something like that.
So these are the MPs, obviously, are inside of Walsina. So why the hell are they over in Trost? We don't know. But anyways, Hanji finds Pastor Nick's dead body there, right? And obviously, it's not just his dead body. We see that his body has been tortured. Literally, we see that his fingernail beds are completely empty.
Yeah.
All of them are empty, which impresses the hell out of,
like
out
all
of Levi.
fingernails missing.
Right? Because as Levi has explained that people talk after one.
Yeah.
If he's missing all fingernails,
I don't even want to imagine the feeling.
Yeah. So pretty much what ended up happening was Hanji had to deal with these two MPs that are there standing guard, and of course they're being assholes. Specifically, one guy who, unfortunately, his name is Sanez.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Like,
just so
we just
close.
lost Hanez. Now we're going to introduce in the next season this guy named Sanez, who's an absolute asshole. All right, cool, I guess. But then, yeah, he's just being an asshole. He's just being like a self-righteous asshole. Typical MP nature to an extreme.
Yeah.
Right? He thinks he's better than the scouts. He's trying to get, the scouts, out of that, the scene of the crime, especially someone Hanji. Like, Hanji is very observant. She's very intelligent, right? And Hanji puts on a tremendous performance. She pretty much plays up to the act.
Yeah.
But she does it in a way where
Strokes her
she's
ego.
appeasing this dude's ego, exactly. And she's also finding a way to get any sort of kind of observations, right? And then they go about their way. So again, Hanji handled it like a pro, the best as she could in that scenario, right? Without really escalating the situation. And so, Lexi, you want to go ahead and tell us what some of the friend of the show, what they have to say?
Yeah. So, first friend of the show is SB.
All right, SB, very cool.
What
does SB have to say?
I would have attempted to gather evidence to confirm my suspicions without letting the MPs know I'm onto them. But I probably wouldn't have been as smooth as Hanji.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what the tricky part about it is how smooth Hanji was.
She was super perceptive.
Also how quick it was.
Yeah.
Because in that moment you only have a certain amount of time to decide.
You can't sit there and plan out what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it.
Yeah, just to handle that situation.
How it's gonna come off.
Which is why she just so suddenly, and we see in the episode where it's kind of like she's going from like mind is trying to just realize what potentially happened.
Putting together the pieces.
And then all of a sudden it's just like a switch. And then she just like, oh, you're so right.
Yeah.
Like foolish me type stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I am far inferior to you. You're so correct.
Yeah.
Please let me shake your hand.
But I like where SB's going with, because obviously in that situation, the best thing you can do is try to gather as much information as possible.
Of course.
Right? And we see that the door itself was open. I mean, you at that moment, you only have that certain small amount of time to look in there and to see what's going on. Because again, we have these two MPs that are standing guard. But yeah, you just have to go ahead and very quickly observe. And Hanji, she did a magnificent job before the MPs, again, slammed that door in front of her and pushed her out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. SB, thank you so much for the response.
Then we have another friend of the show, Eddie Hinston. Eddie says, I would have had Moblet write down everything that was being said, actually, which is something that Hanji didn't do, and in hindsight, it's a pretty good idea.
I think it's a good idea, but it's also a bad idea only because that if these MPs are aware that their words are being written down or whatever it is being written down, they're not going to be.
They wouldn't have let anything
transparent.
Slip. Yeah, nothing would have slipped. It would have they would have barely even talked. Or they wouldn't
have said anything that would have essentially shoved them out of the way and stuff, like get out of here and this and that, right?
Yeah, it would just said
but
following orders.
That is a very intelligent call, though, is to be able to just to have that initial idea of Hanji telling Moblet to write this down, or at least certain details and stuff like that. But also, who's to say these MPs aren't going to go and reach for that paper and try to go ahead and crumble it up?
I know.
Again, these are assholes we're talking about. Yeah. And then the thing too is that again, just handling like a pro, Hanji is able to find a way to go ahead and get in close with that MP Hannes or Sanez. Sorry, Hannes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Hannes, like
my apologies to you. You know what? I cried over your death, bro, and I'm not going to go ahead and insult you like that. Hannes, you are a great, honorable man. We obviously miss you very much.
Yeah.
No.
You're the true
You are the opposite
of all the Hannes.
You are the true, exactly. I love that. You're the true Hannes. But yeah, so this piece of crap Sanez, right? Hanji was able to go ahead and pretty much again trick trick him into getting close. She grabs his hand while she's shaking his hand as almost like an apology. But as she's shaking, she's observing. And what does she see? She sees this dude's knuckles are pretty much slit. And, you know, he's got like cuts on them and bruises and stuff. And he's got open wounds.
He's got some worn knuckles.
Why does he have open wounds on his knuckles? And he's guarding the door of somebody who just got beat the shit out of, you know, like...
Someone that just got tortured.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, again, the fact that Hanji was able to go ahead and figure all that out, you know, okay, cool. But yeah, so you have, if you write it down, that's good, but that's also bad.
Yeah.
Only because, again, who we're dealing with. If we're in a completely different situation, then yeah, that's like I think that's the best method you can go about is to go ahead and write down what you're seeing. Because that way it's there. Even if you forget it, guess what? Hey, Mobley, go back to the notes. What do we go ahead and write down? And guess what? You have it written in its details, right? But again, they wouldn't be as transparent. They wouldn't be as open with their words, you know, had they known that their words are being written down. Yeah. But I still,
they would have probably been more suspicious, you know, maybe would have had it looked through or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, clearly nothing's stopping them from just like torturing, murdering people.
Yeah.
So they've been like, oh, they're on to us. Let's just kill them.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm like, all right.
You know, and then how bad would that have been? We would have lost, you know, Hanji and Mobley. Not to say that. I think that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Those two aren't going to be able to go ahead and take out Hanji or Mobley.
No.
I mean, we see, too, in that moment that when Sana is pretty much just speaking down and trying to bully Hanji, right? Like, Mobley steps in, grabs his fool by the wrist, squeezes his wrist.
Yeah.
You know, forcing him to go ahead and let go, you know, and then very confidently Mobley tells this fool what her rank is, you know, and so I think that Mobley would have. I think Mobley would have kicked Sonis' ass. And plus, we see Sonis; he's up there in age.
Yeah, true.
You know, so, I mean, he was able to go ahead and get his hands on Pastor Nick. Pastor Nick looked like he wasn't a fighter. Yeah, by any stretch of the means. I mean, he's very intelligent.
Like even when Hanji had like dangled him off the wall. From like the ending of not the ending of season 1.
No, but
like the very first episode of season 2.
Yeah.
And like even when she was dangling him off the wall, like talk or I'm gonna drop you. He was like, "Go ahead.
That
like,
is
I will
a perfect
die
example
for my beliefs."
Of again, not speaking and not spilling the beans here, right? Because unfortunately he had to get tortured and lost all of his
like if he didn't mind
fingernails.
Dying, like getting dropped to his death.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, just some MPs torturing him. He's probably not going to tell them much either.
Yeah. So that's another great example of really just sticking to his code of honor, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
just not
like really sticking to his morale.
Yeah, not
or his beliefs, his whole ethics.
He obviously knows too much.
Yes, he only will let them on to know, like basically what he's just like, oh yeah, Historia, she's the key to something, or like that's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
and or whatever. And then you have Hanji again, being that quick-witted Hanji, just being able to carry him and not throw him off, throw him on the other side like safely onto the wall and being like, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually going to drop you. I was just kidding.
Yeah. But anyways, Eddie, thank you so much for the response.
Thank you, Eddie.
Appreciate that. And that is definitely a smart move to do, is to go ahead and write it down.
And then another friend of the show, last response, is B Dennis 7.
B. Dennis?
Hey, B Dennis.
What's up?
He says, immediate mental breakdown but brush it off to not draw attention. Okay, so like just completely internalize it, like an internalized mental breakdown, but on the outside you have to seem like everything's fine.
Yeah, that's tricky because I feel like that's just human nature, is when you come across a situation like that. And again, Hanji is losing somebody that she feels responsible for his death because she's the one who placed him in that room. Yeah, right. So she is obviously holding that guilt, but at the same time too, she knows that she can't be emotional, right? And she has to go and again just come up and see whatever details she can find. Yeah, it's so hard to do in that moment because human nature is to want to go ahead and kind of like almost panic. Yeah, like mourn and just like emotions come out, especially if you have somebody that is pushing your buttons. Again, it's hard to stay composed because what are you going to want to do? You're going to want to push back. Yeah, but if you push back, again, it's only going to raise more red flags. Yeah. It's only going to escalate the situation. And exactly. And so it's a tricky thing altogether. But I think too in that scenario, I definitely would be just kind of like going through so many different thoughts in my mind. I would be kind of like almost like self panicking a little bit and stuff like that, And then I don't know if I would try to really test the waters a little bit. Yeah. And as soon as they push me back and trying to step forward again and get information. I think that once they're kind of pushing back, I think I'd be like, okay, I think we need to go.
Yeah.
And we need to report at least this to,
try to de-escalate
stuff,
a little bit, or try to just like, let's try to focus more on like, hey, the tasks at hand, rather than being emotional. I mean, other than, obviously Hanji feeling that guilt, feeling responsible because she did place him in there. But there's also like that whole like, dang, he knows so much information that's so valuable, like that he hasn't told any of us yet. What did he tell them? Like, do these people know more than us now? Like, who are we fighting against now? Because, I mean, again, Attack on Titan isn't Attack on Titan anymore. It's Attack on humanity against humanity, pretty much. People against people. So
exactly. And it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. And that's Attack on Titan for you.
Definitely.
But thank you, everyone, for your responses. We really appreciate it. Look out for future Q&As.
Definitely.
So go ahead and respond. Thank you, SB, Eddie, and B. Dennis for responding. And yes, round of applause for you guys. You guys are awesome. And next I'm going to go ahead and review the poll.
Okay.
So we asked you guys on our Instagram at Attack to Talk Podcast, which is the best surprise character? And our three options, in no particular order, are Kenny Ackerman, Aaron Kruger, and Yelena.
Ooh, okay.
And these are some interesting
So let's kind of explain
surprise characters.
The word in quotations, surprise, right? So I think the idea here is surprise is these characters essentially were kind of just thrown into the story here, right? But obviously we weren't aware of the entire dynamics that they are really a part of.
Like, don't really know their background, don't know, like, we didn't see any build up. It was just like, they're here.
Haha, friend of the show, SB.
Hey,
what's up, SB? Yes, glad Eddie remembered to download Spotify and answer the Q&A. Yeah, definitely.
Good job, Eddie.
Yeah, good job, Eddie. And thank you again, SB, for your response. We appreciate it. But now we're going over the poll results. So even then when we get into the actual results, if you want to go and let us know how you guys voted and all that, we would love to go ahead and get your guys' your feedback and on all that. But yeah, so in terms of surprise character, again, it's just these characters are part of a certain kind of story. But again, the surprise is really not knowing how involved they are.
Yeah.
You know, or
like, I know that they're important. I know that they're like, they can somehow like further the main story, but I don't know how or why.
Or even how they really impact the story going forward, right? So it's kind of like a big surprise factor in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to hear the results here. Again, who are the three nominees that we have?
So we have Kenny Ackerman, Aaron Kruger, and Yelena.
Interesting. Okay.
Both very different, like, times of the anime too.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Both surprises in all like different ways. Like they all have their own, surprise factor to the story.
Yeah, in terms of where they are, in terms of what surprises they are a part of and impacting, very, very different moments of the anime, like you said. So if we want to kind of very
good
quickly
selection.
talk
good
about
variety.
it. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about their surprise and their arcs after we get the results.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, so go ahead, Lexi.
So starting from lowest voted to most voted, we have at 7% Yelena. Yelena's at the very, very bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have at 41% Aaron Kruger, and then 52% is Kenny Ackerman.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's very fitting with where we're currently at in the story. So I like that a lot. Means you guys are
very
all following along with us. Not kidding.
Yeah.
But all right. So we got
Kenny on the mind.
So let's go ahead and let's talk about the characters and the surprise factor that they have in their storylines. So obviously we got to work away right from bottom to top. Bottom being Yelena. And I think the surprise is really in the moment where they're at, we kind of see again, it's just like a moment where you realize that maybe the protagonist isn't really
the protagonist. Yeah.
Like you're literally seeing a hero become the villain, right? And then the surprise is, guess what? You have this ally in Yelena who she's a Jaegerist.
Yeah.
But she's not just
like
a Jaegerist. She is like the Jaegerist.
Yeah. Like,
and her mission is to go ahead and get
the fangirl.
She's to get Aaron to Zeke and to get them both in contact so that pretty much they can fulfill the plan. Obviously, fulfill the plan, and we know really Eren had his own motives.
Yeah.
but yeah, and
the
then
plan that was like what they thought was put into place. Obviously, was that euthanation.
So the surprise really is the involvement that Yelena had, right? Whereas so now we go to
she's not just a Jaeger fangirl.
No. You know, it's not just somebody who's kind of on board and becoming an ally, which, you know, we see with Onion Capone, right? Where, you know, he's just trying to go ahead and be an ally, but unfortunately, you know, his hands are tied too because he knows that he has to go ahead and really follow the plan or else, you know, he's easily just going to go ahead and be
in his mind, his intentions, in his view, his intentions were, you know, they seemed valid in what he was doing. And then when things start to not seem very valid anymore, he was like, well, I'm already here.
But we also see the morality in him too, where we see like what's important to him and stuff, you know, and he realizes what's right and what's wrong in that moment, and so he tries to go ahead and make things, you know, correct his wrongs. But
seems very, very human of him.
Yeah, you know. But then obviously we go now to you said it was 49%? No, 47%?
41%.
41%.
As Eren Kruger.
Okay, so Eren Kruger. Completely different time over in the anime, right? Whereas, you know, we're just learning about the kind of beginnings, you know? We're learning about how important...
starting to get the big picture of Marley and like how people get not executed, but, you know, pretty much exiled. And everything. Yeah,
and again, we realize how important Grisha is to the story because of Eren Kruger.
Yes.
Right? Because Eren Kruger is the owl?
Is it the owl?
I know that's pretty much there's a person that is feeding information, right?
Yeah.
And then so that's when he's able to save Grisha, right? Obviously,
I'm pretty sure that's
disclaimer. We already went through it. We're talking about spoilers. But yeah, we're going far down into the story.
Yeah, this is pretty far into season 4, or into the anime.
But in terms of surprise factor, we become enlightened by who Eren Kruger really is and what ability Eren Kruger has, and how that impacts the story going forward. Not just impacting Grisha, but also impacting Eren Yeager, because as we are seeing this whole beginnings really unravel before our eyes, we realize that this is a moment that Eren is now just seeing in a weird way through memories, right? As he's being in this cell, right? And now Eren is becoming aware of, as refers to as they call it the AttackOnTitan.
AttackOnTitan.
And then that's when who was it, Hanji or whatever? It's like, who are you talking to? Or something like, you know. But
you're practicing like intros for when you turn into a Titan or what?
And obviously we have the iconic moment between, you know, Eren Kruger and Grisha, where Eren Kruger tells Grisha he needs to go ahead and save Armin and Mikasa. And Grisha says, who's Armin? Who's Mikasa?
Mikasa?
And then you get that line that just really explodes the story.
Yes, really opens up the whole...
Where Eren Kruger says, I don't know. They're not from my memories. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
What does that mean?
You're like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? And so again, huge surprise factor there. And so obviously Eren Kruger is voted as high as he is because of just the impact that he has, right?
For sure.
But then you have, again, very fitting with where we're at in the story, is 52%, you said?
Yes, 52.
52% Kenny Ackerman.
Yep.
And, you know, we're going to get into the Kenny story, right? So we don't have to go too much into it. We don't want to, you know, just go ahead and spill too much.
Yeah.
But
you'll see the surprise unfold as we explain.
Kenny arrives and makes his presence felt. The guy was called Kenny the Ripper, for crying out loud.
I know.
You know?
Literally the Ripper.
Yeah, SP knows. That line gave me chills. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that Eren Kruger line, for sure.
It's insane. And again, another character that, I mean, we're going to go back to a little bit of how we ended last episode, where we're talking about, you know, friend of the show, Eddie, aspiring to become a filmmaker and director. And again, just, you know, just having fun saying that, you know, if he were to get the rights to a live action AOT. So if Eddie were to go ahead and cast a character, you would have to go ahead and cast somebody to be Eren Kruger, but you need somebody who's going to be able to just, again, just execute as SB says, that chill factor.
Yes.
You know?
For sure.
So again, obviously that's difficult to do.
Yes.
Right? But I know I have an actor in mind, only my favorite actor, and I think he's amazing in a lot of
like an
different
absolutely
movies and
amazing
like that.
actor.
But of course, I'm referring to my guy Joaquin Phoenix. But who knows?
That'd be really fitting, really cool.
But now going back to Kenny. Kenny. We're gonna see in this episode that Kenny's gonna go ahead and make his presence felt right from the get-go, right? And he's a force to be reckoned with. So, very fitting that he is the top voted at 52%. Thank you all who voted. If you guys want to let us know how you guys voted, we'd appreciate that. So Lexi, how did you vote?
I actually voted for second place Aaron Kruger.
Really? Okay.
Solely because this dude showed up, changed the course of the entire anime, and just that was it.
Yeah, and that's all we see of him.
Impacted the entire anime. I remember when we were watching it together for the first time, obviously.
Yeah.
We heard that and we were like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
What is going on? Now there's past memories and future memories and they're all shared and it's all just one, and is the endless loop theory true? It just opens up again. Attack on Titan, you think you're getting one step forward, something happens, you're 4 steps backward.
Yeah, you're not getting any sort of clarity exactly. Things are just really kind of becoming even that more cloudy and stuff.
Just really broadening your curiosity on this anime.
And that's
when you think you know something, you do not.
It's funny that you mentioned that because you think you have an idea on theories of okay, maybe this is what it's about, maybe this is what, and then that line. And then all of a sudden,
it's literally all it took.
The theories become even crazier. They're like, whoa.
So there are past memories like this about all the Attack Titans. Mikasa and Eren don't
Mikasa and Armin.
They don't exist at all.
Yeah.
Not even thought of, nothing at all. And then
I don't know if this was talked about, but do you think Grisha named Eren because of Aaron Kruger?
Oh, probably. Yeah, and it's spelled the same way too.
Yeah. I mean, that's never really been.
It's hasn't ever been. I don't think it's ever been confirmed in the anime. It'd be I named him after Aaron. It just seems to make sense. Aaron. Yeah. Aaron Kruger, very impactful.
All right, cool. So SB is telling us that she voted for Kenny. Yeah, he's an interesting character and a character that you almost want to root for, which is exactly what we were talking about.
We were explaining about Kenny.
We're kind of hinting at this character that we're going to be introduced to today, and it's a character where you think, oh my god, this guy is just again an asshole.
Yeah.
But then when you realize really the core of the character, realize what the character has experienced and gone through. As you've just said, SB, it's a character you almost want to root for. You
kind of feel that you feel that empathy, and you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah, so he's an interesting, dynamic character. Yeah, definitely. So SB, so SB is with the majority here, right? With Kenny Ackerman. Very cool. I gotta say, for me, I think that my vote also goes to Aaron Kruger for the same reason.
Yeah.
I just can't deny that how, as you literally just said, shows up and just literally changes the whole script.
Yeah. Really.
So that's where I would throw my vote.
Call me a Krugerist.
Yeah. So I think that it's tough, right? With Yelena, it's.
Yeah, I feel like they're. I don't know.
You're going up against two, again, pretty dynamic characters, right?
Again, her appearance very much was a surprise, especially with the very, very first
with the chin strap.
We see of her is just the very, very. It's a very tall man with a fake beard, and then it's nice it's not a tall strap, man it's just a tall woman, and she's all right.
Yeah.
And I mean, Yelena is still valid. It's just you're up against Kenny and Aaron Kruger. Sorry.
Now I want to ask you, Lex, do you think there's any other characters that we could have thrown in there in the mix as terms of surprise factor? Somebody who kind of again is just kind of inserted into the story, right? And just made the impact, the surprise factor, and then kind of just
and that was it.
Yeah.
Went in, provided some info that changed a bunch of things, and then left.
Yeah. I agree, SB. I wish we'd have got more Aaron Kruger for sure.
Yeah, I do too.
Which is something actually
maybe.
Was it Friends show Captain Boggy kind of talked about different kind of spin-offs? Where we talked about like...
I don't remember that. Could be the concussion, but I don't remember.
I think that was one of the ideas, is kind of going and seeing the Aaron Kruger story, or maybe even talking about just more like focusing on the past users and stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yes. I do remember that conversation. I thought that would be really interesting. Yeah, seeing past user stories.
I mean, again, that would be awesome.
How they came to be their warriors or
I don't know if this is necessarily true either. Talking about spin-offs here, but I think that there's a rumored spin-off of focusing on Captain Levi.
Okay.
Which I don't know. Again, don't hold me to that how legit that is, but I'm sure if you were to look for it or something on the internet, maybe there's something, because I think I saw it on the internet. But again, not everything on the internet is true.
Yeah, obviously not.
But yeah,
would be an interesting idea. I feel like we've seen Levi's backstory, and so I mean, we've seen bits of it, but maybe people want to see more. I mean, personally, I think the past users spin-off would be really, really interesting.
Kind of get more insight.
I feel like it would add it would broaden our lens on the whole like users.
Yeah, just get a better idea and stuff. Definitely, get more information and stuff, and then unfortunately see too how even more ruthless things were back then.
Yeah,
because we go back to the whole King Fritz.
Oh my god,
thing, where it's like, damn, like he's as scummy as they come.
Yeah,
but yeah. So any characters like to come to mind? And let us know too in chat if you think there's a character that we could have included into that poll of that had that kind of, again, surprise factor, where again just appeared in a certain storyline, really kind of surprised us with how involved they were and just impacted the story.
Maybe
one that I have in mind at the moment.
Maybe,
but it kind of goes along with a character that we have involved already.
I'm thinking of two, but one of them is from an OVA, so I feel like it doesn't really count because it's not really canon.
Yeah.
But if it was, that'd be cool. But the one that I'm only really thinking of is what's his name?
His name.
Uri?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
and again,
Uri?
I think that kind of also still falls in line with the Kenny Ackerman.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't necessarily go ahead and put Uri into the poll, because I'm like, again, you see this character for such a short amount of time, right? Mm-hmm. And realize the importance of this character, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, it
then it's just...
It kind of just is an extended kind of branch to really what makes Kenny Ackerman
like
Kenny.
Like, Uri didn't really get to shine like he could have.
Yeah.
It seemed like there could have been so much more there. Yeah. But, I mean, with the info we got, cool, does broaden our lens, and all that. But I feel like there could have been a lot more with that character, but... Who knows? Maybe we could get more. Maybe there'll be a random flashback in season 4 and we'll get more of him. But
what about Willie Tiber?
I didn't even think about him. Willie? Yeah, there's this whole like
perfect, right on cue. Yeah. SB says the Tiber family. Remember that turned out to be the Warhammer. Whoa!
Yeah, exactly.
See?
Yeah, that's a cool one too. Yeah, a whole different Titan, the Warhammer.
I feel like the Warhammer is like revealed. Mm-hmm. And then just the ability's
instantly taken away, yeah.
It's like, it's like, damn, okay, that's interesting. Like, but also even during that fight scene, it's like, okay, obviously that they again, when I say they did the Warhammer dirties, because I feel like in terms of like fighting abilities, they really it's like they lack that kind of like strategy.
It seems like there could be so much more with that character, especially with the specific abilities that is going like that the Warhammer can have. I mean, we see Aaron using it.
So let's get into the story, yeah?
Are you ready?
We'll see. But yeah, so quick recap we need to go ahead and talk about, guys. It's very important is that we know that pretty much all scout business has been abolished. There's no scout activity outside of the walls, which means now that the scouts have to essentially turn themselves in, right? But specifically... I don't want to say the MPs, but the powers that be, they want Aaron and they want Historia.
Yes.
And of course, Captain Levi and the Levi squad, the newly formed Levi squad, they're not going to go ahead and give up Aaron and Historia. So what do they have to do? They have to go into hiding. But where does Levi want to go ahead and hide? He wants to go hide in the same location where Pastor Nick was murdered. So he wants to go back to Trost. Why? Because, I mean, hey, if everything goes to hell,
Yeah.
there's room for them to work with. They
Yeah,
they have,
true.
abilities, the word.
It's a better option than going deeper into the interior
Yeah.
with way more MPs and way more going on.
Yeah. So that's something that's very important that obviously we have to go ahead and recap. So that's where we're going to go and start off this part of the episode where and this is season 3, episode 1. This is part 3 where we're finally going to finish up episode 1. Again, this is Smoke Signal. All right, let's do it. So we actually hear the bells ringing in the city of Trost. We see walking in an alleyway a few familiar characters. Levi and his squad, hiding their identities wearing large hooded robes. As they are now visible in a plaza area, Levi tells his squad, "Try not to walk clustered together. We'll stand out. Aaron and Historia, just act normal." Connie, looking around, asks Sasha, "Why is the royal flag hanging everywhere?" Sasha answers,
Today must be the anniversary of the king's coronation. Once a year, they hand out extra rations to celebrate it.
Suddenly, an MP announces to the people in the plaza, "May I have your attention, please?" Connie turns to notice that there are 2 MPs making this announcement on a stage with people all gathered. "King Fritz has heard of the hardships in Trost. He is donating the royal family's reserves." The crowd all gasp in awe and excitement. "Form a line. There's plenty to go around." We hear someone from the crowd praising,
Long live King Fritz!
Yeah. Interesting, because King Fritz died a long time ago. What are we talking about? King Fritz.
Yeah, interesting.
Sasha, surprised by this announcement, says,
All that food and he's just giving it away?
and Levi tells Sasha, it's not as if he needs it all. Easier to control people when they're not starving. Levi and his squad continue to walk through the plaza. But then, it appears that someone from the crowd notices the group as that person too decides to leave the plaza. We now appear to be where the royal family reside. As a character, we are informed by the name of Ariel explains.
Handing out those rations depleted more than 60% of the reserves. That's a steep cost just to raise morale a bit. Lord Rice. Mm-hmm. Quite steep.
Lord Rice. And Rod Rice responds with his reasoning. It was necessary. We had to do something to improve the public's opinion of the royal family. Now we just need the other pieces of the puzzle. And the sooner we have them, the better. A character, again, we're introduced by the name of Gerald, asks a member of the MPs currently in this deliberation room with them. The military police failed us again? And then the MP responds.
I'll return at once. We'll continue the hunt.
Rod Rice then interrupts. No, we'll soon have what we need. Things are in motion now. And Rod Rice and the other members in this deliberation, they all look towards the throne to find an unamused older man sitting in that throne. What? Mm-hmm. What? Is King Fritz back?
Yeah, what's
going on?
Who's that old dude sitting in the just leaning, hanging out?
We see that this person, right, who's in this throne, and, again, I say unamused because this person in the throne is kind of just...
Yeah.
Right? Just there.
Elbow on the arm.
Yeah.
Chair, just...
Again, they're... Captain Levi and his Levi squad, they are trying to hide themselves over in the city of Trost. And they come across a plaza where it's very, very populated, it's a very busy area. Again, we see it's busy because there's an announcement being made by the MPs. They're going to go ahead and give out the royal family's reserves, right? So pretty much you're going to get food, right?
Yeah, correct? The rations. I mean, Sasha seems to know plenty about it.
Yeah. And it's pretty much a way to just control the people, right? It's easier to control the people.
That the internet's working fine for both of them.
Okay, well, of course it is.
Yeah, of course it's working fine for them.
But anyway, so the thing is, Levi said it's easier to control people when they're not starving, which again is very true.
Yeah.
Right? Because as soon as people start, they're all starving, they're all hungry, then everything's gonna go to hell. But yeah, so that's happening here. I say that the group here, they're hiding, right? They're in hiding, but they're not doing a very good job at it.
No.
Yeah, they're wearing these, giant kind of like robes and stuff, right? Where they have these big hoods, but none of them have their hoods up. They have their faces exposed.
Yeah.
They're just walking through this town. And yeah, Levi says, don't walk
like
too close together, right? Because then we're gonna get, noticed.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I think you're gonna get noticed either way. Like,
dude, you're Captain Levi.
Yeah. Like, people are gonna know.
People are gonna see you and they're gonna know, right?
Yeah.
But, anyways, hey.
It's like the Titan user.
Yeah.
And like, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so they're hiding again, right? But now we go to the strange, weird deliberation that's happening here. Okay. So obviously they don't like the idea of handing out these royal family reserves, right? Because, as Ariel explains that those rations depleted more than 60% of the reserves, right? So that's a big deal. We know that in terms of these people that live over in Walsina, right? They don't want to give up their stuff. Right? They don't want to include
A little bit of selfish.
Yeah, they don't want to include anybody, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not like
like charity, but
yeah, it's just they don't want people from the other world to go ahead and stay in their place.
Yeah, they don't
like refugees,
like
right?
Migrating in, refugees pretty much.
So they don't want that, like this. They just force them underground.
No newcomers.
Right. But so we see here that they're saying that it's a steep cost just to keep morale. Right. Again, we realize the real motivation behind doing that. It's just to stay face. Right. So anyways, we see that there's some funny business happening here. So let's continue on with the story here. Hopefully we'll get some insight on what the hell is happening. So we return to see Captain Levi and his squad again walking through Trost. We see Levi, he's keeping his ears wide open, listening in on the many different chatter. Then suddenly, Levi stops. He stops walking as he appears to have a concerned expression on his face. And then he quickly turns around to warn his squad, "Behind us! Look out!" And then suddenly, a horse and carriage appear out of nowhere, traveling at a very fast speed. And as the horse and carriage pass Levi and his squad, we see two men quickly grab Aaron and Historia and pull them into the carriage. The horse and carriage takes off as a worried Sasha says,
Krista and Aaron! Those bastards are running off with them!
Yeah. We see Levi and Mikasa watching the carriage escape as if this was all a part of the plan. And then we see Mikasa. She goes and she quickly runs off. We now go to a different location in Trost where we see another horse and carriage that's slowly traveling through the town. Aaron, hidden in the shielded carriage, asks, "Will it really work again? With that horse face of his, we look nothing alike. Well, Jean, good luck." And then we see Historia also being hidden in this carriage. We now go back to Jean, who again is disguised as Aaron.
Yes. Again.
Watching something very off-putting as they're now kidnapped and they're placed in this warehouse, right? And we see that one of the men who kidnapped Aaron and Historia is interrogating Historia. The man, chuckling to himself, says, "Yes, so nice." We see that the man, he's very close to Historia's face, touching her shoulders and even her chest. "Let me hear how much you like it." "Well, how's that? Feels good, doesn't it? Come on. I'm dying to hear that sweet voice." We see Armin, disguised as Historia, just disgusted, just cringing and just trying not to blow his cover as he just stares at Jean.
Yeah.
And Jean, of course, he just has to look away as he's just struggling with just seeing Armin dealing with this. But then he's also struggling with the fact that, again, that selfishness in him.
Yeah.
That he just has to be Eren Yeager again, right?
Of course.
And then we see again, John looks away as he says to himself, "This is why I didn't want to go through this shit a second time. Screw being his body double." Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, you have it rough, bro.
I know.
SP just says, poor Armin. Yes,
I know.
dude, poor
True.
Armin. Bro, this guy is literally being molested right now.
No, literally. He's like being, ugh.
Like, he has this freaking kidnapper who's just perving out right now. He's just like, oh, he's just filling up Historia.
John's watching it happen.
And he's just like, oh my God, pretty much drooling over Historia.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
And then John is watching this unfold thinking, why do I have to be Aaron's body double again? Like,
yeah.
What?
So, as this is happening, and of course, John's being pissed off by being Aaron, we see the perv, he can still be heard saying, "Just give me one little moan, lovely. You know you want to." But then we also see Mikasa, who's outside of this warehouse. She's watching through a window above near the roof. And then Mikasa makes her way to the roof to rendezvous with Captain Levi. And then Levi asks Mikasa, "How's everything going inside?" Mikasa answers,
"If we wait very much longer, they'll see through Armin's disguise. He's getting pawed at."
And Levi responds, "I see." Then Mikasa now asks Levi,
"How's your leg? Any better?"
and then Levi answers, "I can move well enough. Now then, did you notice? These kidnappers are obviously rank amateurs. Why wouldn't they use professionals for a job like this?" We see now that Levi stands up and he tells Mikasa, "You can handle the rest on your own. I'm going to make my way to Aaron. Come and meet me when you're done Come and meet up with me when you're done taking out the trash here." I got to get that monotone type of error. Hey, Eddie's joining us. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, Eddie.
Alrighty. But yeah, that part, that whole cringy moment is just all bad, right? But then as Levi walks away, Mikasa responds,
"Yes, sir."
Levi stops to say one last thing. "There's one more thing you should know, just in case. Tell Armin and the others too." But of course, the scene switches back to that carriage, that Aaron and Historia are hiding in for a brief moment. And now we see that, hey, the carriage itself is still okay, right? Armin is not safe. Aaron and Historia, they are safe for the moment, right?
Armin is not.
No, Armin's not. But now we go back to Armin and Jean, of course, again, inside of this warehouse, disguised as Historia and Aaron, tied up, and they're sitting in chairs. And they both hear the door entrance into the warehouse open. And they see a man enter. Jean, we can see, he gets very pissed off by who he sees. And that man, Reeves, asks, let me see if I can find channel in his voice.
Yeah, there's a lot of different voices.
Mr. Reeves asks, "You sure about this? These are the two we're looking for." And then an amateur kidnapper responds,
"Yes, they fit the description we were given to a T."
We then see Mr. Reeves, the merchant man, and his nervous son, Flagle.
Oh, Flagle.
We also see that Mikasa, she's already in the warehouse. She's hiding. And we can see that she has that perv unconscious over in the background. So she took care of him already.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Just the way she was just like, he's getting pawed at. I'm like, ugh.
But then Mr. Reeves now asks that amateur kidnapper, "Huh? Where's the guard?" And then Mikasa, she comes flying in. She takes out the other kidnapper with a savage knee to the face.
Oof.
Now Flagle and his father, they turn around just surprised and scared to see Mikasa. And after knocking out the other kidnapper with a flying knee, she quickly goes after the other guard by grabbing him by the neck, launching him to his back, knocking him unconscious. What a badass.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Reeves and his son now have nobody to protect them, as Flagle just fearfully pulls out a gun.
Yeah, like shaking.
And then Jean and Armin, they break out of their ropes and they make a sprint for the unconscious guards. And then Mikasa buys him some more time by going after Flagle, kicking Flagle in the face, literally spinning him in the air as he falls to his back and he drops the gun. Now Flagle is out for the count. And then we see now that Jean and Armin, they're tying up the guards as Jean tells them, don't even think about moving. And then Mikasa, she goes after Mr. Reeves as she pins him to the floor. And now Mikasa, she asks,
Connie, are these 4 really all of them?
And Connie, he answers from outside the window near the roof. Yeah, that's all. No one else in the area. But then we see the merchant man, Mr. Reeves. He's able to quickly draw out his gun. He draws out his gun, only to be stopped by an arrow that accurately pins the gun to the floor. We see now Sasha hiding from above. She warns Mr. Reeves.
Move again and you won't like where the next shot hits.
And Mikasa now tells her squad members.
All right, first we get these guys secured, then we meet up with the captain.
And then Armin asks Mikasa, what do you mean? And Mikasa tells Armin.
Those are his orders. He left a message too.
And of course, again, before we can hear what that message is, we go back to Eren and Historia, again, hidden away in that carriage. All right. What the hell? Okay. So Mr. Reeves, that merchant man, is involved. And again, that doesn't surprise any of us because we see early on in Attack on Titan that the guy's selfish. He'll do whatever benefits him and his money, right? So obviously he's involved because maybe he's on the payroll here. Maybe, we know that he is...
he's motivated by...
very corruptible, right? We also are introduced to his son.
A little bit of money.
We introduced to his son who is petrified to be even involved in this, right? You can see as soon as he walks in, he's literally just like looking around like, oh my God, like, I'm so afraid
he really does not want to be there, but he's like, oh, my dad, I guess I got to make money somehow. And
yeah. And then he has now involved himself over in these weird kind of, very,
interesting
slimy
locations.
Things here. Speaking of slimy, thankfully Mikasa took care of that freaking
oh my
perv.
gosh, yeah.
It was just like, oh my God.
I imagine the relief that Armin felt. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Also,
such like a uncomfortable, disturbing scene. Ugh.
So, Armin disguised as Historia. Okay. Do we want to give Armin the compliment of being very pretty and very beautiful?
Armin very much. Like there was a point where I was watching and I was like, that is Armin, right? That's not Historia. I'm pretty sure that is Armin. It's just a very, again, Armin on his own is already a very pretty faced boy, but when you put that long hair, that Historia wig on him, very, very good job playing that role.
Yeah.
Nothing like the, horse face Eren that we get, but
definitely. But again, now thinking logically here, where the hell did they get those wigs?
I know. I was just thinking about that too. I was like, so... Because we talked about it before too, a long time ago where what was it, Zach, that brought up the fact it's can you scalp him and then you have the hair?
Eren?
And his hair heals back?
Yeah, and being a Titan user, he's able to go ahead and regenerate his hair back, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's kind of like you grow your hair back. Yeah, people can do that. But we're talking about scalping this fool, right? And then now just using that as a freaking just a perfect wig, an accurate representation, right?
Yeah.
But it's dude, okay, what's the excuse here for Historia? You can't do that.
Exactly.
So
will it eventually fade away?
Yeah,
obviously, does it steam away?
They had to
I'm
go
sure
ahead.
that they do have wigs at this time.
Say they had to go ahead and make a quick trip,
made out of horse
to a wig
hair
shop,
and
they had to go ahead and buy the disguise and all that.
Find one that's most accurate. I would like to imagine, I'm sure that they just sent someone to go get me a blonde wig that resembles Historia's. But I like to imagine that Levi walked into a wig shop on his own and was like, yes, this one's good.
Yeah. Well, I remember we posted also part of the poll question, right? Asking about that question, right?
Yeah, would Eren be bald?
As Eddie also tells us here
back?
that bald Eren looks like Saitama.
Yeah, kind of. They have the same head shape for sure. Must be a main character thing.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so just thinking logically, where the hell they get those wigs? We don't know. But either way, we know that that's Armin and that is Jean.
Wig shop. Maybe it's horsehair. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But so Mikasa, she's able to go ahead and kind of just deal with that situation. Very cool that Captain Levi completely trusts Mikasa to get the job done, as Levi just decides, you know what, hey, take out the trash, meet me when you're done, right?
Yeah.
But
which is also I'm very much trusting you in this
Yeah.
a very important, task that we're doing. But I mean, again, they get it done. You have Sasha has their back, Connie's on lookout. You got everyone's doing their job. Everything's going according to plan. Seems like.
But also, I think the reason why Levi has confidence that Mikasa is going to get this done is because Eren is not really involved here.
Yeah.
Which means that her
no
emotions are going to be in check. She's not going to go ahead and do something crazy. She's going to go ahead and follow along with the plan and just get stuff done.
Yeah, she doesn't really have that distraction, that Ackerman bond.
But also, that's another incentive too for Mikasa, because she knows that, look, I need to get this handled with and taken care of quickly so that I can go to Eren.
Yeah.
So there's also that, right? So, but yeah, again, she goes and she takes care of business here. We see later on that Connie and Sasha are there also as reinforcements and stuff. That's so cool that Sasha's able to go ahead and just we see that she's there by what she's able to do, and that's just make sure that Mr. Reeves doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah, with a bow and arrow, no less.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that she has that whole hunting background. Everything just makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
She has
so
such
Sasha,
killer aim.
badass Sasha there too. I like how she even goes and she threatens the fool too afterwards. Right? What'd you say again?
You're not gonna like where the next shot hits. Or whatever.
Yeah. But they took care of business there. All is good. But what the heck is this message? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he left a message.
Yeah.
Something I need to tell you. And then we don't hear it.
But we know that Captain Levi left for a reason. Yeah. So all is well over on that side. Now they're going to go ahead at some point, meet up with the captain. But the captain has to go ahead and make sure that Eren and Historia are okay.
Yes.
All right. So, speaking of Eren and speaking of Historia, again, they're hidden away in this carriage that is traveling through Trost. But we see now that the carriage comes across some traffic. As we see, just again, a large group of people, they're gathered again. They're blocking this narrow kind of pathway, the only way where they can go ahead and travel through. The carriage driver, he tries to tell the people gathered to move out of the way, but the people aren't listening. And we can see now above, hiding on one of the rooftops, we see Nifa, who is keeping a close eye on that carriage. We see now that Captain Levi joins Nifa on that same rooftop. And Levi, he asks for an update. And Nifa, she quietly informs Levi.
The road's crowded, but I've seen nothing unusual. It's not far to Commander Pix... Yeah. It's not far to Commander Pix's from here. So I think we're good. But how's the body double mission?
Interesting. So that's a little insight here on what the plan is. So we see now that they want to go ahead and transport Eren and Historia to Commander Pixis. Very cool. And we can see now that there is another member of Hanji's squad who is also hiding on a nearby rooftop. And then Levi tells Nifa, a success. But then Nifa now says,
You don't seem very pleased about that.
And Levi tells her, I'm not. And then Levi now thinks to himself as he watches that crowd clear out in front of the carriage. Something's wrong. Military police can't be behind this. They're too careful of their reputation to use amateurs. This is more like... And then we see Levi's expression growing more weary. They'd know the wagon wouldn't be followed. Its support team wouldn't be far behind. And then Nifa, she interrupts Levi's thoughts.
Captain, wagon's almost on the move again.
And Levi now asks Nifa. Nifa, you've heard of Kenny the Ripper? And then Nifa answers.
That mass murderer in the capital? The one who slit the throats of over 100 MPs? Of course, but I always thought he was just an urban legend.
Well, Levi informs Nifa. The stories are all true. He's no legend. I lived with him back when I was a kid. And then Nifa, of course, thinking that Captain Levi is joking, she says,
Yeah, very funny, sir. This isn't really time to be making jokes.
And then Levi begins to think to himself again. That's right. He wouldn't care about using amateurs. The team would trail the wagon from both rear angles. And they'd choose a spot high up, somewhere with a clear line of sight. And then we see someone climbing up to the top of the roof. the same roof that Nifa and Levi are on. And then that someone pulls out his 2 guns and points them directly at Nifa. Levi becomes aware as he screams out to warn. You want to say it?
you can say it.
Okay.
You got that.
This last part here is going to be quite a bit of screaming
this is the part where it just comes at you so fast.
Yeah. It's like, I think I'm ready for it, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay.
You see the line you're reading, you're like, maybe I'm not.
But then Levi, he becomes aware as he screams out to warn, Nifa! And then, unfortunately, Captain Levi, he's too late, as Kenny the Ripper blows off Nifa's face. And
Levi, like that.
Levi watches for a brief moment and then quickly hides behind a chimney. And then we then see a member of Kenny's gang sneak up on the other member of Hanji's team on a nearby rooftop and shoots him in the head. The body falls off the roof, lands directly in front of a mom with her young daughter.
Ugh.
And they both scream out in horror as their screams just echo throughout the town. Levi is in shock as he hears Kenny's voice. Long time, Levi. Still a runt? Or have you grown some? And as Kenny slowly walks towards Levi, he replenishes ammo in both his guns. And then we see the reinforcements from Kenny's gang approaching quickly as they're all led by Kaven, and they all are using ODM gear to travel through the town. The reinforcements then show themselves as they all fly up and stare and surround Levi. Kenny, he launches his ODM wire. He joins his team in the air as he says, "Woohoo! Nope, don't look like you changed much at all, boy." And then Kenny points out his gun at Levi as Levi draws out his blades, stares at the man right in his eyes, and screams out, "Kenny!" And then to be continued.
Get a round of applause for AJ there doing like 7 different voices. That was really good. Your Kenny sounds really good too. You really got that accent down.
Oh man.
The accent kind of slips in when you're like about to lead into it.
Yeah.
Like as he says.
Yeah, as he says.
But the thing is, it's like a good little warm up into it though. That was really good.
Oh, thank you.
That was really, really good.
Mark, appreciate that, man. We got to talk about this because this is such a very big moment, right?
Yeah, this is a really big, kind of iconic
so much,
scene.
SB, thank you. Fun fact though about Kenny and his voice actor, right? This is obviously for dub, right? For anybody who is a fan of One Piece, Kenny Ackerman is also the same voice as Usopp, and
Interesting.
And that also means it's the same voice as Krillin from Dragon Ball Z, right? So Kenny Ackerman, this badass character, is also Krillin and Usopp.
Yeah.
Who are both, they're not as badass.
Oh, what range?
Hey, Sonny Strait is the name, and Sonny Strait is
Sonny Strait,
a phenomenal voice actor. We know that he's been doing it for a long time, so just trying to channel in that Sonny Strait, but but also just do it in my kind of weird kind of flavor and stuff, right? But I also wanted to kind of execute that because in that scene where he flies up, he just woohoo,
Yeah. No, I remember hearing that and being like, is AJ gonna say that? Is he gonna say the woohoo, or is it just gonna he's just gonna say like he woos?
Yeah, but you can tell he's having fun with it.
Yeah,
like this full Kenny the Ripper,
meeting an old friend.
Like here's the thing though, you can tell Kenny the Ripper enjoys being a bounty hunter.
Yes, he enjoys the chaos for sure.
Killing people.
Yes.
And he did it right now, just executed these 2 members who are part of Hanji's squad in such ruthless fashion.
Again, executed pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell he's a very successful bounty hunter. I mean, to be like, have these legendary stories and all that. But I mean, all we're seeing right now is the villainous aspects of him. But I mean, like SB mentioned earlier, and like we mentioned earlier, the whole like kind of want to root for him.
You get to a point where you definitely are realizing that there's a reason why this person's so rugged.
There's some humanity behind this person. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
This is just our introduction to this surprise character.
But
and what an introduction it is. Kenny knows how to make an introduction.
This is awesome. We were getting just tiny little teases of this character as, again, at the end of our part 1 discussion, right? We see 2 individuals who are going spying on, Captain Levi and the others as they're doing their, ArtofCesar experiments.
Yes.
Obviously, they've been keeping a close eye on them for a while. Who knows how long? But we don't see the faces of these 2 characters, right? And then we go ahead and we get to the end of our part 2 discussion. And again, they're keeping an eye on Levi and his squad. As, of course, Levi and his squad think they got the upper hand in being able to avoid, this surprise kind of, attack, so to speak, right? Where they arrive over to this cottage where the Levi squad try to go and hide and make home, right?
Yeah.
They realize they couldn't stay there.
Yeah.
But as Captain Levi and his squad are looking at the chaos happening, we realize that Kenny Ackerman and Caven were both also keeping a close eye
very much
on them.
Yeah.
And then we finally,
Little
like you
stalkers.
said, we are officially introduced to Kenny Ackerman, Kenny the Ripper, and he goes and he just brutally it's overkill here to use both of his freaking, let's try to explain the 2 freaking guns that he has, right? They're both the same. They're essentially like mini thunder spears.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we realize later on, right, in the story that the Hanji and her there's the others, the Levi squad, I guess, right?
Yeah.
We can refer to them as. They create the thunder spears to go ahead and be able to penetrate the armor right?
Yeah.
The armor titan, and we realize that it's a devastating weapon. It goes literally, it's just like it's so impactful that a
little bomb, a little grenade.
It goes and it easily takes care of the other titans, right? But Kenny Ackerman has his own little mini thunder spears.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like when he walks,
they're not just bullets. They
it's insane.
They have an explosion factor to them.
So he goes, and as he is slowly walking to Levi, and he goes and before we continue on, Kyron here joining us, saying, "I guys dropping in, say hi." No, Kyron, you got the flu. I can't say tonight, but I'm trying. So, oh man, Kyron. Thank you for dropping by, man.
102-degree fever. I'm so sorry, Kyron.
Yeah, dude, go ahead and get some rest, man. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Drink plenty of fluids. Take care.
Definitely.
Get some rest for sure.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better. Thanks for popping in to say hi.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. But yeah, of course, we want you just to feel better and stuff, feel well rested, and hopefully you get over the sickness very, very quickly, man.
Yeah.
So rest up, man. But thank you again for popping by. Appreciate it.
Not fun.
Yeah.
But introduced to Kenny.
But yeah, so Kenny, he's walking slowly, just like a badass, just walking to Levi.
Very much enjoying,
and then
feeling
he goes,
so in control of the situation.
And just to talk about how impactful his gun is, when he goes and he releases the empty, cartridges or whatever, when they hit the freaking rooftop, those things sound heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
Like those are like they seem like really heavy, like CO2 cartridges or something like that.
Ooh,
like they're just...
I like this. So again, Eddie, knowing his stuff, right? He's telling us here that it's all just technology that the government that landed Kenny and his squad, right? Very corruptly. And we know that they are using the ODM gear.
That makes so much sense, right? Eddie. See, you're the way that you think is...
Yeah. So...
Thank you for joining us. I didn't even think about that.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Yes, that is... Thank you so much for that, because that is true.
Perfect insight.
Of course, they're using ODM gear.
Yeah, they're going to want to know, they're going to want like the best technology to be able to kill efficiently.
Yeah.
And of course, some mini thunder spears.
So this dude is probably using guns that are meant for Titans.
Yes, probably. Yeah, on people. Yeah, because why would the military police... I mean, I guess, they could have rifles, could have guns, but I feel like the better technology is going to be more formulated for Titans.
Do we remember, though, I think in season 2, right, when we see, I'm blanking on the character's name again, Marlo, we see Hitch, we see, and the other MPs, obviously, Annie and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. She was there at that moment.
The whole, under the table, really crooked...
Yeah, and but do you remember they came across some MPs going shipping some boxes of equipment over into these ferries that they go ahead and they transport stuff, right? But they're like, where are they transporting all this
for
equipment to?
For some money.
And now we see here that more than likely here, they're sending them to these bounty hunters who they know that they're going to be working with them for their own kind of very corrupt motives.
Yeah.
So Eddie, thank you so much for that insight, man. Because now we're really connecting
now
the
that
dots
seems
here.
so much more connected. Again, nothing in Attack on Titan is just put there just to be put there.
Yeah.
Like, who are these being shipped to? Probably these bounty hunters. Probably.
Kenny Ackerman. And his gang.
I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. He's probably using weapons that are supposed to be used on Titan.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
So that's pretty much a guaranteed kill if that hits a person.
And he used both of his guns over on freaking Nifa.
Yeah, like overkill. I mean, again, he seems like the type of guy that wants to make a big entrance. He's one for flair.
And that just goes to show that he is enjoying this moment because he easily could have taken Levi out.
Yes.
Or at least pointed one of those guns at Levi. He didn't.
He just pointed both.
He's trying to make a point. He's trying to go ahead and toy with this runt.
Yeah.
You know? And
like first thing that he says to him is like, "Are you still short?"
Yeah.
You still short?
You still grown, any runt?
Yeah.
And then he knows the answer, so that's why he's just like, woo!
Like, nope, doesn't look like you've grown.
Nope, you haven't grown at all, and stuff. And it's like, man, you get Kenny. And again, just seeing
he's like
that energy.
enjoying himself. He just seems so comfortable and so like in control of the situation. Like he just doesn't seem worried, stressed at all.
And that's another reason why I feel like you kind of root for this guy because he's having fun with it.
Yeah.
He's really kind of showing his personality a little bit. It's like, this guy's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, he's kind of likable.
I want to see more of this person, you know? But yeah, I agree, Eddie. That's why I had to go ahead and change it. Where it's like, yeah, he probably would have killed him. Oh, at least would have aimed the gun because I think Levi would have very quickly. I mean, again, Levi, we find out he's still somewhat injured.
Yeah.
Because Mikasa asked him early on, "How's your leg?"
Yeah.
Right. So it's something that's an injury that Levi's been dealing with.
And is this the same ankle injury from the female Titan arc?
I think it is. From when he went ahead and he had to go ahead and save Mikasa.
I mean, I guess that could make sense because time-wise, honestly, like it seems like so much time has gone by, but not a whole lot.
We're talking about maybe weeks here, right?
Yeah, like every episode could be just like an hour.
Yeah.
Or like not even like days go by before all these experiences are more like they're really like
definitely. So maybe even weeks is just even stretching it. We're talking about maybe a week. We're talking about maybe days.
Yeah, maybe a couple weeks since that injury. You're right, and then they obviously don't have the modern medicine because for all we know he could have not just sprained something, could have maybe a hairline fracture.
And they definitely
they don't really have the facilities, the technology.
And even then, like we're at a point too where Levi can't even go get medical attention because he's essentially a wanted individual, Him and his squad, they are now kind of like fugitives because they're not giving up Eren or Historia. So it's like, dude,
that's true.
He can't go ahead and take the proper medical attention and stuff, right? So that's why, this is an injury that he's been dealing with. And it makes sense because since that moment where that injury happened, whenever we would see Levi, he's like out of uniform, right? Mm-hmm. Or he's not a part of, he's not there out and over in the fields with the others. He's still over in Tross, and stuff. He's with, Commander Irvin, and stuff. And it's just, it's got to be that same injury.
More in like remote places.
Yeah. But guess what, dude? I'm sorry, man. Now Levi can't go ahead and rest now.
Yeah.
Because guess what? He's got Kenny on his back now.
He's got stuff to do, yeah.
And again, like
a great soldier.
Who knows how long Kenny and his team have had ODM gear because I gotta say, they are moving around that town like they're pros.
Yeah.
Like they
Definitely.
are like even that moment in that episode where they all go and fly up to show themselves as they're kind of just like surrounding Levi, like it's such a coordinated like moment.
Like how comfortable they look is just like so like it not only is it like almost off-putting, but it's also like that little like again like it's a little like it makes them a little bit likable, like that they're doing this with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you go and you see Kaven literally just like going like she's like traveling through these freaking like alleys ways.
Yeah, like she sees them like the back of her hand. But I mean, maybe she knows the layout. Maybe she doesn't. She's just that skilled. Just with her,
no. We know that she's leading them for a reason. It appears, at least from first initial impression, that she is the right hand ally, the right hand person to Kenny.
Yeah.
So she's
very
like
a great asset.
Yeah. And I feel like, we're going to go and talk about it, but Kaven is another character where she's very kind of forgotten about her abilities and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, as we learn more about this whole Kenny arc, really how, strong Kaven is as well, right? But yeah, so Kenny
We
finally
just get a
is
little
introduced.
little bit of a taste of how strong she is.
Yeah, actually, I do want to ask because this is a question that we kind of talked about early on and stuff, right? But since Eddie here is joining us, hopefully Eddie, you're still with us. But who would you cast as one? Who would you cast as Kenny Ackerman? And do you think about whatever actor you have in mind and stuff? Like, say you were going to go ahead and direct this year, and you have to come up and come up with the cast, and you have an actor that you have to come with in mind that you're going to reach out to and you know, talk to them about that role. Which actor would you want to go ahead and maybe you can see being Kenny Ackerman? But I also want to find out too, as a bonus, who would you also cast as Aaron Kruger? So if you just think about it a little bit, Eddie, get back to us in chat if you're still with us. We know that, again, you're an aspiring filmmaker. So again, if you had the rights and you were going to go ahead and come up with a plan and all that and stuff, and they want you to start filming next year, you're going to reach out to some actors. Who would you have in mind to go ahead and play those two, Kenny Ackerman and Aaron Kruger? I'm kind of curious as to hear which actors you have in mind. So if you can go ahead and let us know, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, Nifa, again, showed up. We barely were introduced to Nifa, and then she's just out of the picture, just like that, in a very brutal fashion.
Yes.
You know.
R.I.P. Nifa.
Yeah. What were her last words?
Her last words were, "Now is not the time," right? Is that what she said? Like, now is not the time for jokes, Captain, or something like that?
Yeah, it says, yep. Literally her last words were,
this isn't really the time to be making jokes.
Wow.
Your last word was jokes?
Yeah, last word was jokes.
Aw.
That
Nifa.
sucks. Yeah. And then, you know, the homie over in the other rooftop, you know, he goes and he gets freaking just like one. I will say it's still brutal.
Yeah.
But that member of Kenny's team only used one gun.
Yeah.
To take out that you know.
Yeah.
We see that
a
he's
little bit more efficient.
He's referred to as goggles, right? Because we see it early on, you know, and stuff.
I think so.
Oh, okay. So Eddie answers. He says, Kenny, I don't know. That's a tough one. But he has... Is that the name, Nads Nicholson? Can you search that up, Lex?
I'm literally doing it right now.
Because I think I know who you're referring to. Yeah, Nads Nicholson, mine for Aaron Kruger. And I got to tell you, man, I do see that. I definitely do.
There's a Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads. So it's Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Oh, interesting.
You can see it, though, right?
Yeah, I definitely can,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like...
Definitely
see some Kruger in there.
Yeah.
Some Aaron Kruger in that first photo.
Yeah.
Like, literally, when you look up his name and click on photos, the first photo that pops up, I could definitely see some Aaron Kruger.
You can see Aaron Kruger in there.
For sure.
Oh, man.
Interesting.
That's a good
That
solid
was a really
fan
good
cast
casting.
right there, Eddie.
Yeah, that's a
like
really
it a lot.
solid fan cast.
But I want you to think about Kenny for a little bit. I'd love to go ahead and hear an answer if you can. Because I know Kenny is a very difficult character to go ahead and try to implement in live action because of just, again, you want somebody who's going to go ahead and bring that same kind of like, I don't know, like energy and like that
still have fun with the character.
You know, that enjoyment that they have, you know, when literally killing people, you know? SB also agrees. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can see it. Mads Mikkelsen for sure.
Yeah, that's a really solid.
That's really good.
Eddie's really been thinking about this.
I like it.
Because that's a really solid casting fan cast.
But yeah, I'm sorry, Eddie, I'm putting you on the spot, man. But yeah, if you can. Also, SB, if you want to go ahead and also throw in some actors who maybe you can go ahead and see portrayed as Kenny Ackerman. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we have to think about that a little bit too, Lex.
I know. I can't even, like, nothing really comes to mind right now.
I don't know. The one I'm thinking of is he's kind of like, you know, he would be very, very expensive. You know, I think that maybe he can be very witty and stuff, you know, but he's a little up there in age, but so is Kenny Ackerman. But the guy I'm thinking of is, and just in this certain moment, first person that came to my mind is actually Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
You know, he played Iron Man, Tony Stark, who's another very snarky character, very well. You know, again, you'd have to really go ahead and bust out the checkbook.
Yeah, for sure for him, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. it's also tough because the association to Iron Man is already there, you know,
I
and
know.
stuff. So it's like
it's so hard to like be such a multi-movie,
Yeah.
just as big as a Marvel superhero.
Yeah, I mean, you want again somebody who's gonna go ahead and have that kind of charismatic personality to go ahead and be able to bring this character to life, and that's such a difficult thing to do. You know, because I'm trying to think of like who are some very kind of like just sarcastic,
Charismatic.
snarky, very kind of charismatic type actors who they go ahead and they have these roles and stuff, right? It's like you're giggling over there. Who are you thinking of? Who comes to mind?
I definitely wouldn't cast him.
Don't say Ryan Reynolds.
But no. I
Okay.
definitely wouldn't cast him. But I think it would be really funny to see like at least his audition, because I was thinking of like, oh, who's like a really charismatic like older actor, and the first thing that came to mind was Jack Black.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, imagine if Jack
That
Black
would
like
be
he lost weight for the
hilarious.
role
Yeah,
and
that
he
would be
played
hilarious.
Kenny Ackerman.
And he would deliver the lines
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
He definitely has the voice for it for sure. And even thinking about his like, okay, this is weird. I'm only going to compare this because of just the voice, but like you thinking about when you hear his like Bowser voice,
Yeah.
and his Bowser kind of like little
It's
like
a little
evil
more
cackle and
menacing,
stuff,
yeah.
and it's like
More
okay,
sinister.
I can see it. Mm-hmm. Again, he'd have to go through a body transformation
Yeah.
for sure.
He'd have to,
Put in the work. Hey, if he was dedicated by all means, but
I know.
Eddie actually has an answer for us now. But you can tell it's difficult for Eddie as he says, but Kenny, geez, it has to be someone who can bring a bounty hunter but cowboy western-esque vibe. But actually, the person that came to mind for Eddie is Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead.
Interesting.
So he's talking about Rick Grimes.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Andrew Lincoln is underrated. He's a person that you only maybe think about
As just
as Rick Grimes, right? And shoot, you know what?
By bringing up The Walking Dead.
I'm like thinking about like Rick Grimes at his craziest.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And there's been some moments where
Actually, I got an idea for
Ooh.
someone else that could pop. Okay,
SB says Tom Hardy might be really good as Kenny.
That's
Damn, you know
true.
what? Tom Hardy is like he comes across as really like sinister and stuff, and all that.
But there's definitely some comedic.
Oh, you see him as Eddie Brock when
Yeah, I
he's
was gonna
with
say
as
when he's
Venom
Eddie
and stuff,
Brock,
right?
I think that's a really good
But
balance.
also another movie too, The Revenant.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
That's The Revenant. If you see Tom
But if
Hardy,
you guys know,
he is another just like brutal, like rugged individual in there, where I think I can definitely see it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm gonna give you some homework now, Lex. Go ahead after the pod, because I don't want to play it now because I don't want any copyright.
yeah, I don't want to get many strikes.
But
We've already gotten some strikes before.
Look up Tom Hardy, The Revenant,
in Revenant
scenes. Okay. Hear him talk.
Homework.
Right.
Remember.
And again, he has that kind of like that a southern accent.
Mm-hmm.
SB, I like it. I like where your mindset is right there.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Look at us brainstorming.
See, this is like a good collaborative effort
this
here.
is some good.
Actually,
I just thought of a pretty good fan cast possibly for Kenny, because Eddie bringing up The Walking Dead. I'm thinking of Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
As
Kenny.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I mean, basically like his
Negan.
Yeah, Negan is pretty similar to Kenny.
Damn, that's pretty
I
damn
can
good.
Definitely see him playing Kenny.
Yeah.
But maybe I feel like he wouldn't take
Could you
it
just hear
because
it?
he's like
Taking it like a champ.
Yeah, exactly. You still a runt?
Yeah. Hey, you still a runt?
I mean, I don't know if he would take it because it's honestly super similar to Negan, but
Hey,
I could
easy money.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I've already played someone like this before. Perfect.
Damn, Lex, that is really good.
Jeffrey
Hey, you
Dean
know
Morgan
what? We
would
got
be
that.
pretty good.
That's an alley-oop though because of Eddie.
Because Eddie definitely
brought up The Walking
I would
Dead.
have never thought of Jeffrey Dean Morgan if you didn't bring up The Walking Dead.
Yeah, so that is really good. Wow. Damn,
He would
that's
do a pretty
good.
good Kenny.
You know what? Hey, I feel like Tom Hardy.
They all have to compete. They all
Again,
in audition.
Tom Hardy. I feel like Tom Hardy's not going to want to audition for this.
No, I don't. Maybe
but
not.
Now Eddie. You have Tom Hardy there again. Lexi, you watch those scenes. You'd be like, okay, definitely. I could definitely see it there. Tom Hardy, no doubt, can execute that. He'd be a phenomenal Kenny Ackerman. But if Tom Hardy, hey, shoot, man, for all we know, his scheduling,
maybe there's some conflicts.
We can go ahead and call Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We can call him. Hey, he's got that kind of taller, kind of like slimmer,
more slender. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got like the build. He's got that brunette hair.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Perfect age for it.
Damn, that's good, Lex.
Yeah.
I do agree. It's another great fan cast. Oh, okay. He said another great fan cast would be the guy from the Pianists. I don't know his name, but he's tall, slender. I think you're talking about Adrian Brody.
Yeah, Adrian Brody.
Brody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do know who this is.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? That's the thing, Eddie. I'm oddly enough, I'm not too familiar with Adrian Brody too much. Honestly, the thing I think about is a movie that came out a long time ago, and that's that really long King Kong movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
he wasn't
another movie where Jack Black was in.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm not too familiar. I'd have to go maybe look up some scenes that Adrian Brody's in.
Adrian Brody. Okay.
He says another guy that can pull off Kenny is Jose Maria from Narcos. I haven't seen Narcos, man. Another show that a lot of people really, really enjoy. If you can, Lex, also look up Jose Maria from Narcos.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it?
I could see it. Interesting.
Oh, damn. That top left one right there? Definitely, yeah, I can see it. But again, are these people
I can't get Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Are they like charismatic? They're gonna be able to go ahead and pull off that energy and stuff, and also be very kind of like
fun with it,
creepy still, and stuff. Like, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess they probably could just, these people are actors, But damn.
Interesting. So
Uh-oh.
I'm seeing that brings up another actor. I can't remember his name, but possibly Butcher from The Boys.
Carl Urban?
Yeah.
You think so?
Actually, I don't know.
I feel like he's just Butcher.
I know. That's another one where it's like, no, you can't play anyone else but Butcher.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like my heart is set on Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
There you go. Lexi has her pick.
That's my vote.
Yeah. It's so hard to go ahead.
He won't have Lucille, but he'll have,
Yeah, he won't have Lucille, but he'll have his weapons that are still going to go ahead and do some damage, which we see, unfortunately. Imagine being cast as Nifa.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Where you're like, okay, you're going to go ahead and be Nifa.
Your head's going to get blown off.
So do I just, imagine doing the prep and the research or whatever, looking at the different stuff for Nifa. You're like, oh, okay. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be that person. Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm there for like 2 scenes and then
make
my impact.
Yeah.
And then that's it, I guess.
Yeah. It could be worse. It could be Goggles.
It's true. It could be Goggles. Look at the difference between these 2 photos of him there and then there.
Yep. That's Jeffrey Dean Morgan right there.
Interesting. Good collaborative effort, guys. That's pretty good. I really like your Aaron Kruger pick, though, Eddie.
I do, too.
That's pretty solid.
I like it a lot. I can definitely see that. Mads Mikkelsen. And, damn, you imagine? Like, Eddie's able to go ahead and get Mads Mikkelsen and Tom Hardy and stuff.
Yeah,
bro, like,
get them in there.
That'd be insane.
Dang. Yeah.
It's like big budget stuff right there.
For sure. Whew. All right.
Very cool.
Good collaborative effort, guys.
I like it a lot.
Good episode.
So it's really, really tough to go ahead and kind of just cast certain characters as a live action interpretations, right? Because it's like everybody has them. Everybody, just who are fans of the anime. I mean, it's just it's going to be hard to just please everybody, because of just the love that they have for it. And so the reason why, again, we're talking about this live action is because, one thing we talked about past episodes. Can't remember if it was the last episode or if it was the episode before that, but we talked about the One Piece live action, right? Mm-hmm. And we know the cast has been announced. We didn't see any sort of kind of, promotional stuff, but some stuff came out recently. Or for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, Netflix released, I believe, 2 like posters, 2 kind of like images, and upon first impressions, somebody who has been watching One Piece, it looks like it's going to be very cool.
Okay.
I didn't realize that the One Piece creator is heavily involved with the live action.
Oh, okay.
So that kind of gives me hope.
That helps.
But
that does help.
Obviously, you know that because it's going to be, I can't remember exactly how many episodes in season 1, but they're going to go ahead and kind of focus, and they're going to try to speed their way to a certain arc. So it's going to be very,
different pacing.
The pace is going to be very, very just like quick. But you know what I saw? And this is something I told Zach. I showed Zach the photo, and he was just like, "Shoot, what did he said? Like pretty much like, I'm scared." Because the same thing where it's like, obviously the reason why I started watching One Piece is because of Zach.
Yeah.
Zach so often was trying to get me to go ahead and watch, and I kept telling him, like, dude, I can't make that commitment. I can't make that commitment.
That's where I'm at right now.
As soon as I started watching it, you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm hooked, and I start you just start binging it, and next thing you know, I'm in it. I'm like, okay, One Piece, I'm in it, right? But then I noticed this, and I was talking to Zach about this. Like, bro, I just realized something. In one of those promotional images, Luffy, and you're not going to understand this. Maybe you will. But Luffy is wearing shoes.
Yeah. Whew. And that's not just the concussions, because I don't want
Throughout the anime, I don't think I've ever seen Luffy wear shoes once. This dude is always in his chanclas. Literally always wearing his just sandals.
Oh, yeah.
All
okay,
he wears. Right?
I have noticed that, yeah.
And
but I didn't know that he'd never wore shoes.
I don't think I've ever seen Luffy wear shoes. This dude, like, he's got his usual, he switches up the clothes a little bit and stuff like that, but he's always got his straw hat. He always has his freaking those same
the dogs
sandals.
are always out.
Yeah.
Dogs are always out.
So to see that, I looked over on so Netflix's Twitter, they posted it and stuff, so looking at the comments and everything, and people were also aware of the shoes, and one person commented saying that, I swear, if Luffy's wearing shoes, I'm gonna make them eat those shoes, right? So they're obviously, it's like weird, right? But I mean, hey, we all have our gripes with live action. Yeah, but yeah, see, Eddie agrees. I've never seen the anime, but I've noticed he always has sandals. Eddie, so I'm going to pull Zach right now. Eddie, I'm telling you, give One Piece a chance. I know it may seem a little intimidating. I understand maybe, Eddie, you are a busy person. But watch One Piece. Watch One Piece, okay? Watch it, because what's great about One Piece is that we're so far behind that once you are literally, like, you get hooked.
Once you're in it.
Guess what? There are going to be episodes to your just like
disposal, to your,
exactly.
You just have it. You just keep going.
You're going to be able to go ahead and watch. It's not going to be like those new anime that are out where they
like
go ahead and
Hunter,
you have to wait. Yeah. Damn it. Yeah.
That's crazy. What good logic.
Hey, I'll get there. I'll get there at some point, okay? I got to finish Hunter x Hunter. I know Kyron would go ahead and be upset with me, but yeah, stitch some shoes up for Netflix and shit them over to them. Yeah, definitely. You'd be like, bro, go ahead and send it to Netflix and have a note being like, what the hell are you thinking? Right? But
it does seem something that's like so like, oh, we'll just put some shoes on him. It's fine. It's just a costume change. But then it's like, no, it's kind of like iconic to the character.
Like, that's what makes Luffy, really, you know, and stuff. Is just
it's like changing the color of his shirt.
It'd be like, you know what? Hey, we're gonna go switch up his hat because it just logically doesn't really kind of fit with live action. Like, no, that's literally like they are called the straw hats.
Yeah, straw hats are too hard to deal with. Let's give him a fedora.
Like, if you can, Lex, go ahead and can you go ahead and bring the straw hat down off the wall here? I mean, it's like, you know, this is another reason why you should watch One Piece. Or maybe you shouldn't, because then you're gonna start buying stuff. But but yeah, Eddie. So I went over and I purchased this little bad boy here, but yeah, I'm a straw hat.
Yeah. But can you imagine in live action if it was like, yeah, they're not even straw hats.
Yeah, they're not. SB, I don't know if you watch One Piece.
They're just baseball caps.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch One Piece, SB, but you should also watch One Piece as well. But that's the thing, is you're gonna have episodes, plenty of episodes to go ahead and watch. You can, if you ever are at a point where, hey, I have time where I can go ahead and just watch an anime. you just boom, One Piece right there.
Yeah. You can
Okay.
throw it on.
I know that it's intimidating, but hey, you know what? You're gonna get hooked. Okay. It's such a great anime. And Zach, thank you again for being so just persistent with me wanting to trying to get me to watch it. Yeah. SB, that was your Halloween costume, right? Yeah. I went over and I wore this for our
Yeah, that was definitely
Halloween episode, right?
Yeah.
I went ahead and I threw on the little. I have like a Luffy little kind of shirt that he kind of wears. He wears different shirts throughout the different storylines. But yeah, SB also hasn't seen it. It's on her list. But hey, just whenever you have time, again, it's gonna be weird early on because the episodes came out. I believe One Piece came out in 1999, so it's gonna be one of those, where obviously the quality is what it is, but you just got to get past it, and then yeah. So just give it a shot. And Eddie's saying, can you imagine if they switched it to like a sombrero?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I was like, what if they just switched it to? It's actually based in Mexico, and actually, I was actually just thinking about that.
I believe that the actor they casted as Luffy is
I want to say he's. I know that he's Latino. I don't know.
I think we're gonna go ahead and kind of get to a close here.
Yeah.
Right? How long have we been going?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. Very cool. But again, thank you all for sticking around with us. Again, shout out to Kyron for just stopping by, and hopefully you feel better. It's unfortunate that you're feeling sick, man. But
Hope you
to get that rest, watch some One Piece. No, okay.
Yeah.
Kyron's all about the Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, get some rest. Of course, we want to shout out SB. We want to shout out Mark. We want to shout out Eddie. Anybody else who's there watching along, just thank you. Shout out. A person that we thought about last week after the pod, after we streamed, right? I want to go ahead and shout out, if you are still watching, shout out to Captain Boggy.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't heard from Captain Boggy in a while. I want to shout out Captain Boggy. Of course, we want to shout out B. Dennis. B. Dennis,
Of course.
we
Very,
appreciate the
very
feedback
loyal.
and stuff like that.
Loyal listener.
All the shout out to the loyal listeners. We don't know what the name is yet. Lexi just wants to keep calling you Attack the Talkers.
Yeah, yeah. We don't really know. Just our loyal listeners, some friends of the shows, and our friends.
But right now, we know that you guys are our friends, and thank you for just supporting us along the way, guys. We're gonna go ahead and shout you guys out again as we get to a final close. But you guys know we got to talk about some stuff, starting with any updates that we have, guys. Make sure you guys follow along over on the Instagram. The Instagram is at Attack the Talk Podcast. Make sure you guys follow. We'll update you guys on when we stream, the time, and all that. We try to get those available to you as soon as possible. Thank you for kind of bearing with us this week, as the episode was published a day later. That's only because we had some technical difficulties. We want to shout out our editor, Nate. NatePlaysBad. Make sure you guys support him. But yeah, he was having some issues over on his side. He's was having some power outage issues, so he was trying to do what he can to get the episode available to us, so he was able to get it to us late on Friday. So thank you so much, Nate, for just dealing with all of that and for getting the episode available to us as soon as possible. Huge shout out to you, Nate. Again, go and support Nate. He has his Twitch channel at NatePlaysBad, and thank you so much, Nate, for all the hard work that you do. But yeah, make sure you follow along over on Instagram, because also on Instagram we're going to go ahead and post different polls. We appreciate you guys go ahead and giving us these awesome results where we're able to go ahead and kind of talk about the different where the results go ahead and kind of all different where they lie and how different they all are, and even surprising results. I was surprised that Kenny Ackerman was the top vote getter.
I honestly thought it was going to be Aaron Kruger.
I thought so too,
but hey, like we said, someone you kind of just want to root for.
Yeah, definitely. And plus we also see more of, Kenny Ackerman. We only get a quick little tease of Aaron Kruger. I agree with SB. Would love to see more of Aaron Kruger.
Of course.
But yeah, so make sure you guys go ahead and follow along and stay updated over on Instagram, because that's where we get most of our feedback with that poll results. So we post polls whenever we post new episodes. Zach goes and he posts polls. So huge shout out to you, Zach. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
And yeah, make sure you guys are all staying up to date, because also available on the Instagram is the link tree that Lexi created. So thank you for that, Lex, because on the link tree, we have the different platforms where we are available. If you guys want to go ahead and stick around and watch us stream live, you guys can go ahead and watch us when the episodes are published over on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The different outlets are available, guys. They're all in that link tree. So go check that out, guys. Make sure you guys follow along on different platforms. We would appreciate that greatly. And thank you for anybody who already follows along. So now we want to go ahead and shout out some artists. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about some merch. We'll get to a final close. But of course, guys, you guys are aware, for anybody who's looking for merch, we have some ways for you guys to go ahead and browse some merch. One being in our link tree. That is a link that'll send you to Fandomion. Fandomion is a crazy site where you guys can go ahead and search and browse through different anime stuff. They have a ton of different stuff, but they also have stuff that is not anime. They have other stuff that's available. It's just a wide variety of a selection where you guys can go ahead and browse. And if you guys see anything you guys like, Lexi has a promo code for you guys to use, and that promo code is her name, Lex. That is LEX. That promo code will get you 10% discount off of your purchase, right, Lex? And do you have any updates for Fandomion or nothing right now?
Nothing as of late, but I will definitely keep you guys updated for sure if there is anything going on. They do a really good job of communicating with me so that I can go ahead and let you guys know whenever there's anything new out, so you guys can have first dibs. But so far, nothing. But tune into the live stream on Sundays.
Yeah.
And hear if there's any updates.
Yeah.
Or if you want to listen on all of our platforms and everything that AJ mentioned before.
Yeah. But yeah, we have that available, guys. If anybody's looking for some anime merch, you guys know that in the link tree there's Fandomion. That link will send you straight to their online store. You guys again, if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and browse anything you like, purchase, and use that promo code. That promo code again is LEX. Also, for anybody who wants to go ahead and browse and search for some anime stuff, another way you guys can go ahead and search is through an awesome anime account over on Instagram. That is at AnimeCrunch. That Instagram handle is AnimeCrunch24. That is anime, right? Crunch spelled CRUNCHH, and then the number 24. I believe they had the link for you guys to go ahead and use in their profile on Instagram. That link will send you to their online store. They have awesome stuff. I have some stuff that's over in here with Funko Pops, different figurines and stuff. We've got some like stickers and all that. Yeah, so we want to go ahead and shout them out because we met the two brothers there that were running the shop over in a swap meet. Yeah. And they both were awesome people. Yeah. They just... hooked us up too with some anime merch, and we want to shout them out. So make sure you guys go ahead and support them at AnimeCrunch24 on Instagram, and they have the link that is available to send you to their online store. So very cool, guys. And now to the art talk. We already know that we talked about one of our friends of the show here, Eddie Hinston, who is very artistic. We see that he has aspirations that involve art, which is available over on his Instagram. You guys can go and see what he's been working on. That art is going to be found over in his Instagram account, which is ArtDuan. But we also know that he's very artistic with aspirations involving like filmmaking and directing, and it's all stuff that he's talked about here in the pod. We obviously wish him nothing but the best, all the best of luck in his future endeavors. But we see that he's also creative with his YouTube channel. So I believe that he's been very busy with his channel as of late. I believe he's posted some recent videos. I know that I've seen one of them was so the past two videos at least that I've seen have been Eddie teaching how to do some skating tricks, which is very, very cool. Go ahead and make sure you see those. Go support Eddie over on his YouTube channel, which I believe is his name, at Eddie Hinston. Eddie, thank you so much again, man, for your support here and following along with us. Make sure you guys follow along, support Eddie over on his channel. He's been very active with his YouTube channel, and also we're very excited for all the different things you got going on over in the future, man. It seems like you got some good things happening your way. Just keep working hard, my friend, and we would love for you to go ahead and finally become that filmmaker and put out some awesome content. Also keep us in mind. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Also, whenever you're big and famous, don't forget us little people.
But yeah, huge shout out to you, Eddie. SB, huge shout out to you.
Thank you, SB.
We appreciate the support. We love that you've been following along with us over in chat. You know, it's cool that these last 2 episodes, you've been able to go ahead and chat live with us. You know, it's fun. Thank you so much again, just for sticking around. And just I hope that you keep following along, because we love to go ahead and keep chatting with you. And if there's anything that you want us to go ahead and shout you out, by all means, let us know. If you're also artistic or creative, whatever it is you got going on, you support us. We want to go ahead and support you as well.
Of course, spread the love.
So definitely, it's what it is. It's what it's about, spreading the love. So huge shout out to you, SB. Thank you so much. Another friend of the show that we have that is also very artistic, we are aware, right? And thank you again for joining us this episode. I hope that you're still sticking around. But that is our friend of the show, Marco. Marco is very artistic. Marco is on Instagram. So Lex, you want to go ahead and also plug Marco?
Yeah, Marco's Instagram is MARC0MAMONE. No spaces. It's just that entire thing. It's his name, except the first O is a 0. And really cool artwork going on. He has a really cool art style that I think is pretty clean. I hope that you guys think so as well. He has a whole highlight showing all of his artwork so far. So go ahead and check him out.
Yeah, check out Marco. SB, love you too.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you, SB. Oh.
Yeah, we talk about it, but I really do genuinely just appreciate you guys' support so much. I love this awesome, just kind of friendship that we really kind of have now just established just through this podcast. It's like it's something
really
where it's
great.
Just I think about how special it is, and you guys really do mean a lot to us. You guys have no idea when we go ahead and we are preparing for the podcast and stuff, like throughout the week, it's like it's work that we put into, but we know we get excited because we talk about us like, oh man, like we hope that our friends join us and stuff like that, because we have such a great time whenever you guys join us.
Yeah,
and we're able to go ahead and talk live with you guys and stuff. So this awesome weird friendship that we have created just through this podcast, it's just been so special, man. It's awesome. It's again just a credit to anime in general, whatever it is, that can just bring people together and stuff. And so thank you guys again. It's all love, you guys know that. Eddie also saying thank you guys so much. Been working on a little bit of everything on other stuff in life, but I hope for the best for all of you guys as well. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Eddie.
Marco, thank you. Yeah, guys, so that means it's gonna wrap up this episode. Obviously we want to shout out Caesar as well. Caesar, go and check it out, guys. ArtofCesar over on Instagram. Also, there's a link for you guys to use over on Linktree. Caesar, he's at this point a well-established artist. He's been doing some big things as well.
Yeah.
Artist, and again, an artist that we kind of just came across. We just browsing through some stuff over at
Frankenstein's. Yeah.
Yeah, we're over at Frankenstein's. That's where Caesar primarily is at, I believe. His shop is there, his little booth, and he's
right there in the front.
Him and I believe the other guy's name is Nick. They both are just so talented. I mean, you go ahead and
really great people too.
You see the art that they've been working on, the art that they have available. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff, a lot of hard work put into their art, and you can tell it's been a lot of hard work that they've really put in just to get to that point. And it's cool to see, Caesar, I believe, has been doing. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think he's been kind of working also doing some collabs with some people and stuff as well.
Oh, okay.
So
good job, Caesar.
But Caesar, keep working
you,
hard, man. You're an awesome dude, and we appreciate you, man. We can tell that you love doing what you're doing, and we can tell that you really appreciate people who go out there and purchase your art and stuff. You can tell that it means a lot. So it's always cool to see just genuine people like that, So just thank you again, guys. We're all just spreading love here. But yeah, we're officially going to go and get to a close.
Officially.
But again, keep a lookout for those Spotify Q&As. We love that we got a couple of different responses for this episode. It was a lot of fun to go ahead and just read them and again, dive into the different responses and stuff. We try to come up with some good questions to go and ask you guys. I know that this was kind of a trickier question because this was a scenario question. But again, thank you for the ones who responded. Obviously, we got future poll questions, which you mentioned. And we just appreciate all of the support, guys. So you guys know that we'll be back next week. We'll be back on Sunday. We'll go and we'll let you guys know what time. And hopefully you guys can go ahead and follow along with us. So we hope to see you guys next week. Tag to Talk loves you all. We love. We hate. And just, again, spread that positivity. Keep working hard, guys. You guys know that's all going to be worth it in the end, all that hard work, right? Hope that you guys are all aware that people love you. We'll see you guys next week. This is AJ signing off, saying I love you. And hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend and a good week. So, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.